Coming up on Hoosier Sports Nite, Indiana baseball traveled to rival Purdue for a 3-game weekend series.
And Indiana softball looked to win their first Big Ten Conference series against Rutgers. This is Hoosier Sports Nite.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier Sports Nite. I'm Brett Smith.
And I'm Blake Spillers. We're starting off the show today with more updates on the men's basketball program.
Joining us now is iOS TV men's basketball beat reporter Jevin McCoskey.
Each week, there seems to be more and more breaking news out of the Indiana men's basketball program. Last week, it was Thad Matta announcing he will become the new head coach at Butler University, while this week it is Rob Finney announcing that Butler is in his top 2 schools after transferring from IU. The University of Cincinnati is the other school, and both make sense as the Bearcats lost their starting point guard to the portal this offseason, and, as previously mentioned, Thad Matta left Indiana to become the new head coach at Butler. But maybe the biggest news yet out of the Indiana men's basketball program this offseason came on April 9th as star sophomore Trayce-Jackson Davis announced via social media that he is officially declared for the NBA draft while maintaining his college eligibility. Trayce-Jackson Davis averaged just over 18 points per game this past season while grabbing over 8 rebounds night in and night out. The standout Hoosier was top 20 in the country for shooting percentages as the big man shot 58.9% from the floor. TJD leaves Indiana as the 15th highest scorer in program history with 1,549 career points, number 9 all-time in rebounds with just under 800, and 7th all-time in career blocks with 178. Jackson Davis may be leaving the Hoosiers program, but his name will forever be recognized as the player who put Indiana back on the map. Now, it is not out of the question that Jackson Davis returns to the Cream and Crimson as he did maintain his college eligibility, but a decision must be made by June 1st. In the meantime, be sure to follow along with myself and Evan Kamiko for all season updates for the offseason.
Thanks, Jevin. Indiana baseball traveled to Purdue this past weekend to renew the state's most iconic rivalry in a 3-game set. Our Mason Williams has more.
Indiana baseball hit the road this past weekend to take on in-state rival Purdue in the latest installment of the storied rivalry. The series got off to a rough start in Game 1 as things spiraled out of control for the Hoosiers in a 17-0 drubbing by the Boilers. Despite the result, however, Indiana remained confident.
Fortunately, they can't carry any of the runs over tomorrow. They can't carry that stuff forward. It's one game, and I know it's frustrating. Believe me, leading the organization, there's no one that sees that or understands that more than I do. And the buck stops with me, most certainly. But you do have to move on after that game and understand that there are 2 more games. There is a series to be had, and we do have the guys in the mound that can go out and execute those pitches to give us an opportunity to do that. They're going to have 2 quality starters left as well, but you're going to go battle it out and go compete from there.
Following the shutout result on Saturday, Indiana responded in a big way on Sunday, scoring 25 runs over 18 innings of baseball. Although they split the doubleheader and lost the series to Purdue this weekend, Indiana's lineup has nothing to be ashamed of.
I don't care what anybody else thinks. I really don't. And I don't care about anything except for the guys in the Indiana uniform competing to the best of their abilities and representing the university the right way. And we did that today. We competed like absolute warriors the entire day, all 18 innings of the entire day. And that's what you ask of a team, and that's what they did. There's a lot of teams that would have not shown up and competed like that. And to get down and then to come back and take the lead and to get down again and come back and have the bases loaded there in the 9th, it's just an incredible day overall.
One of those warriors Mercer was referencing is outfielder Sam Murrison, who was on quite the comeback tour following a torn labrum last year.
Yeah, so I had surgery back in summer. Worked at it, did physical therapy all day, every day till about December, and then kind of got back into the swing of things in December, baseball-wise. Worked on my swing, worked on everything, and then before the season started, January, February, got into live ABs and just got back into it. And I'm just, I'm happy where I am right now and just working to get better every day.
For this group overall, success is not just measured in wins and losses.
If the only thing that we get from only satisfaction we get is at the end, if the outcome says what we want it to say, then we've missed the boat, in my opinion. We've missed the boat. And I know our job is to win, and we're here to win. But the way that they compete, the way that they show up and fight every single day, the way they love each other, there's so much more to it. Success is the foundation of success is built, with the competitiveness and with the desire, and those guys have done that, and they execute that level from an offensive standpoint is an incredible day. That's what I told them.
For IUS TV Sports, I'm Mason Williams.
IU would go on to defeat Indiana State 6-5 thanks to some late inning magic, improving to 13-18 on the season. Follow Mason and IUS TV Sports for more on Hoosiers baseball the rest of the way.
Indiana softball picked up their first Big Ten Series win last weekend at Andy Moore Field. Team 49 faced the Rutgers Scarlet Knights in 3 closely contested conference matchups. Our Ryan Costello has more.
This past weekend, the Indiana softball team continued its conference season against Rutgers. The Hoosiers were able to pick up their first Big Ten Series win in a sweep of the Scarlet Knights.
Well, anytime you can get a sweep against any Big Ten opponent, that's a great weekend. And I can't be any more proud of our group. We just continue to show resiliency. I don't know if people realize how hard it is to get down and continually get down and always fight back.
The Hoosiers found themselves down early in each of the 3 games, but were able to put the pieces together and get the victories. Sophomore infielder Brooke Benson talked about how the team having trust within themselves will allow them to be confident in their ability to compete in any game.
I feel like at the beginning of the season we would get the lead, and then the other team would come back and get the lead, and we would just feel so defeated. But I think now that we trust our bat and we trust our teammates and just passing the bat, I think that's what really makes us win, is because we're trusting ourselves a lot more, and we're trusting our defense and hitting.
Despite the Hoosiers taking all 3 games from the Scarlet Knights, Rutgers was able to stay competitive and close throughout the entire series through their timely hitting and execution on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, I'll give credit to Rutgers. I mean, they don't have the wins in that column in Big Ten play, but that's a scrappy team. I had a chance to coach Kristen Butler in the Pro League, and she's a feisty competitor, and she has them ready.
The Hoosiers return home Wednesday and will look to keep their undefeated streak at home alive against Purdue. For IUS TV Sports, I'm Ryan Costello.
The Hoosiers will be back in action this weekend against Penn State in State College. Make sure to follow Ryan Costello, Samantha Condra, and Chloe Whitman for all softball updates.
The 14th ranked Indiana water polo team went 2-1 in its trip to California over the weekend. Indiana defeated Cal State East Bay in its first game 13-11 on Saturday. Tina Doherty, Izzy Mandema, and Zoe Crouch each had a hat trick against the Pioneers. Later that day, Indiana defeated Santa Clara 13-4. The offense had a hot start, scoring 5 of the goals in the first period, plus Izzy Mandema scored her 50th goal of the season, which leads the team. IU wrapped up its weekend on Sunday with a 13-6 loss to number 2 Stanford. Mandema scored half of the team's points with another hat trick on the weekend. However, that effort wouldn't be enough, as 3 separate Stanford players each had a hat trick against the Hoosiers. Indiana is currently 14-13 on the season and will travel down to Tampa for a match against number 9 Arizona State on Saturday.
IU track and field had a very successful weekend in Knoxville, collecting 18 top 5 finishes on day 1 of the Tennessee Relays and scooping up 4 wins on day 2. Kicking it off for the Hoosiers were Sarah Schmidt, who won the 1500-meter invite, and Elizabeth Stanhope, who won the 800-meter. Setting a meet and facility record was the women's 4x1500-meter relay team, as Ramirez, Barker, Stoffel, and Schmidt captured a first-place finish to start off day 2. The men's sprint medley relay team of Brathwaite, Laidler, Benton, and Marshall collected first-place honors. Indiana scooped up other victories in the women's 4x800-meter relay and in the men's 4x400-meter relay. While the runners were at the Tennessee Relays, those competing in field events were in Terre Haute at the Pace Setter Sports Invitational. A lone Hoosier, Maddie Pollard, took the victory in shot put. Indiana will next compete at the Louisville Invitational this weekend.
Coming up on Hoosier Sports Night, we have a special IUS TV sports feature on the Intercollegiate Medical Service.
Plus, we have the latest on tennis, golf, rowing, and more. You're watching Hoosier Sports Night.
Welcome back to Hoosier Sports Night.
We continue our IUS TV Sports Little 500 coverage by highlighting a different team at the track. Our Evan Kamiko has more about the Intercollegiate Emergency Medical Service.
Well, it might not be the first thing that someone thinks of when they hear Little 500. The Intercollegiate Emergency Medical Service is the most important group at the track.
ICEMS, or Intercollegiate EMS, is the collegiate EMS organization at Indiana University. So we are a state-certified basic life support non-transport organization comprised of emergency medical technicians, EMTs, and first aid providers.
The ICEMS is unlike any other medical provider at a sporting event on campus.
Our EMS organization is completely IU students. So we have EMTs that take the EMT course either at IU or other places and then get state certified and nationally certified and are able to practice with us. Or we have first aid providers who we are actually instructors for that course, so we're able to train people who have no experience to get first aid and CPR certified.
Students go through an intense amount of training to be a part of the ICEMS team. For them, it's not just about helping injured riders and injured fans in the stands. It's about connecting what they love to do with the community of Bloomington.
Being here for Little 5, being involved in something that is so much bigger than even just my years here at IU, and being able to provide that EMS coverage in something that I'm passionate about and somewhere that I have a specific role that I can help in. And like I said, just being a part of something bigger than not only myself, but even bigger than my own 4 years here.
You can catch the ICEMS all around the Little 500 track, whether you're a rider in need of help or just a typical fan enjoying the race. For IUSTV Sports, I'm Evan Kamiko.
If you're at the track, be on the lookout for the ICEMS for all of your medical needs. And keep following along with IUSTV Sports on social media for more Little 500 feature stories.
The women's basketball team has been busy in the offseason after their Sweet 16 appearance in the NCAA tournament, as Alyssa Geary, Sydney Parrish, and Sarah Scalia committed to Indiana from the transfer portal in the 2022-2023 season. Scalia is a standout transfer from Minnesota who earned second-team All-Big Ten honors, leading the Golden Gophers in scoring, averaging 17.9 points per game. Her veteran leadership and three-point shooting will provide a spark for the Hoosiers offensively. Terry Martin is excited about what the players could bring to the program, stating, "They have all had success at their previous stops, but most importantly, they're fantastic young women. They're hard workers who are excited about the direction of the program. I know our fans are going to enjoy watching these three along with our returners and 4 freshmen we signed in the fall. We are continuing to build our program with the exceptional young women who want to do the work to compete for a Big Ten championship and the Final Four."
The Indiana men's tennis team had another rough weekend, falling to both Michigan and Michigan State. The Hoosiers started off strong against Michigan State, securing the doubles point and winning at number 2 and number 6 singles. However, the final points came down to the number 1, 3, 4, and 5 singles, as the Hoosiers were unable to secure the deal. After a tough afternoon against the Spartans, the Hoosiers had hopes of bouncing back and getting a win against number 6 Michigan, but they were unable to. After losing the doubles point, the Hoosiers were unable to get back in the match. Number 6 singles player Jagger Saylor was the only Hoosier who won his match against the Wolverines. It's been a tough Big Ten season for the Hoosiers, but they will have 2 more chances to get a conference win against Wisconsin and Nebraska this coming weekend. Follow along with beat reporters Kara Adams and myself for all of the updates.
Following a huge win against Purdue, the Indiana women's tennis team had a disappointing 2-set game against Penn State and Northwestern. Penn State visited Indiana last Friday and quickly won the doubles point with scores of 6-4 and 6-1. Mila Mejic was the lone bright spot for the Hoosiers in the singles, winning her match 6-1 and 6-3. Schneider, Masick, and Stekuliesco all went down in straight sets to make it a 5-1 loss for Indiana. They would look for a redemption as they traveled to Northwestern on Sunday, but it was not meant to be. Laura Masick and Rose Hu would force third sets in their in matches, but both would lose in close tiebreakers. The Cats punched the Hoosiers to win the match 7-0. The team will travel to Maryland tomorrow to play the Terrapins and will head to Piscataway, New Jersey to face the Rutgers Scarlet Knights on Sunday.
The women's golf team competed here in Bloomington this past weekend at the Fowl Golf Course. Beat reporters Hank Joseph and Ben Fitzsimmons were there to cover the IU Invitational.
Indiana women's golf wrapped up their home tournament, the Indiana Invitational, on Sunday afternoon, with 2 individuals tying for second place.
I'm very excited about how we played today. This is our best finish of the whole season. a great round out here at the FAL. This is definitely not an easy golf course.
The 12th ranked golfer in the country, according to Golf Week, Ashley Lau of the University of Michigan, took home the individual first place and led her team to their third first place victory of the season. Saturday featured 2 rounds in horrid weather as the winds and cold combined with rain to provide less than ideal golfing conditions.
You know, it's Indiana in the spring. It's okay. I grew up in this. I honestly feel like we're prepared for anything, and I'd rather have that than the other way around.
Sunday was a much nicer day and led to better scoring around the golf course. Indiana, after being tied for 7th at the end of 2 rounds Saturday, shot up the leaderboard to finish 4th as a team overall.
2 IU golfers, Anya Donegan and Alexis Mistowski. Alexis Mistowski, the senior, 4 under today. That brought her down to 3 over par for the whole tournament. Donegan shot 71 today, all 3 rounds, 75 or better. She also finished at 3 over in a 4-way tie for 2nd place.
Next up for the Hoosiers is a trip to the Fox Hill Chapel Golf Course in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where they will compete for the Big Ten championships.
Figuring out the lineup, we got 10 girls. It's a deep competitive team. And then just keep going on short game and course strategy. That seems to be the biggest thing for this group.
But for Coach Emily Kuffeld in her first year as interim head coach, she knows this season is about more than just results.
Coming in and just trying to kind of, bring a different kind of culture and a different kind of style of communication, and really appreciating the seniors and everything that they've put in.
We will catch back up with the Hoosiers in 12 days when they head to Pittsburgh. This is St. Joseph for IUS TV Sports. Thank you.
Follow along with Hank Joseph and Ben Fitzsimmons on Twitter for more women's golf updates.
The men's golf team traveled to West Lafayette for the Boilermaker Invitational, placing 9th in the team standings out of 14. Gusty conditions made the course challenging, but overall, Indiana shot an .893 after 3 rounds. Standout senior Mitch Davis was the lowest scoring Hoosier on the weekend, shooting a .216 and finishing 11th overall. Sophomore Drew Saylor secured 4 different birdie opportunities on the final 18 holes of the tournament to tally a .225. The Hoosiers will travel to Columbus, Ohio for the regular season finale at the Kepler Intercollegiate on April 23rd and 24th. Follow our men's golf beat reporters Kelsey Donahue and Hank Joseph for updates on the team.
The 20th ranked Indiana rowing team traveled to Columbus to compete in the Ohio State Regatta. The 6-race morning session saw the Hoosiers finish with 2nd place finishes in the first Novice 8 and 2nd Varsity 4 races. Indiana also collected 3 wins in the first Varsity 4, 2nd Varsity 8, and 1st Varsity 8. The Hoosiers' 6-minute and 37.1 second time in the first Varsity 8 race was their personal best on the day and the 3rd best of any team in the competition. The afternoon session saw identical results for the Hoosiers, giving them 6 race wins across their 12 races. With 2 wins on the day, the first Varsity 8 boat earned Big Ten Boat of the Week honors. The Hoosiers will head to Sarasota, Florida for the Big Ten Invitational this weekend. Be sure to follow IUS TV rowing beat reporters Christian Oates, Alex Hines, and Adam Oppenheim for more updates.
And that's our show for the week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUS TV Sports. For our production crew behind us, I'm Blake Spillers.
And I'm Brett Smith. We'll see you next week.